Madam Chair, I agreed to mention for our colleague from Maine that Maine is apparently the most heavily forested state in the nation. What I appreciate about Senator King being here is that if you look around this dais today, you don't see a lot of Easterners here, and that is part of the problem. I want to really recognize the effort of everyone who is here on focusing on this issue. We have got to get this done, but I especially appreciate it when our members from back east show up for these things, because this is sort of a do or die situation for this.
Well, we do appreciate Senator King.
Enter into this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to that.
I don't think it's any secret that rural communities around the country are struggling, and it's certainly true in New Mexico. So I think the last thing we should be doing is pulling the rug out from under them by ending the Secure Rural Schools program. Now, before it expired, SRS provided funds for schools and roads and public safety in counties with national forests. But in truth, the impact of these funds, as our witnesses can attest, is much broader than that, because counties now have to fill in their school and road budgets from their general funds. And that means they're unable to meet other critical needs. And I want to share just a couple examples from New Mexico in particular. Sierra County in New Mexico is planning to start a new mental health program in the county, a desperately needed program in an underserved area. But now, because their county payment was cut from $154,000 to only $6,000, they've had to redirect the funds for mental health into law enforcement and road projects that would have been covered by SRS. In Cibola County, county officials have had to eliminate all road improvement projects. Let me say that again, eliminate all road improvement projects, and will even need to cut back on routine maintenance on school bus routes. This means that people in the far reaches of that county are more likely to get trapped at home in bad weather, and school buses are more likely to get stuck on poorly maintained roads. This is simply not sustainable. We cannot leave rural communities hanging on while we debate forest policy here in Washington. Rural counties need these programs. They need them to be reliable, and they need them now. Ms. Ferreter, I want to go back to something, and we've talked about this a little bit, but I think it's going to be really important for our colleagues to understand. In New Mexico and a number of the other states, we have counties that receive PILT, but not our SRS. But even those counties are deeply concerned about this expiration of SRS. And that's because PILT payments will have to increase for counties who used to receive funds from both programs, because the PILT formula includes an offset for those SRS funds. So could either you or Mr. Casamassa walk through us very explicitly the intersection of these two programs? And in the absence of SRS, will we simply need to increase PILT appropriations, and if so, by how much, if we were to hold those counties whole?
At the top, I'll do it. I'll answer. Thank you for the question, and you are correct that the having SRS not authorized will impact the PILT. It won't impact for FY 2017, but it will for 2018. And the reason is because for the counties that do receive the SRS, when we do the PILT calculation, those SRS funds are taken into consideration. So if SRS is not reauthorized, it's going to mean that the PILT, the statutory calculation for PILT would be expected to go up, and it means that more counties would be looking to have a slice of the PILT pie.
Mr. Casamassa, do you want to add anything to
No,
that?
I think that certainly sums it up.
specificity?
There is that they are both inextricably linked, PILT and SRS, when it comes to those counties that have National Forest System land in them. So they are linked, and it's directly proportional to PILT payments if you do not have the SRS there.
And obviously, a lot of us in the Intermountain West have counties where there's primarily BLM lands, for example. They're just as impacted because of this rob Peter to pay Paul sort of situation. Commissioner?
Senator Heinrich,
I just have to say this, that the calculations that the counties have worked at is if the SRS is not taken away from the PILT, or doesn't take away from the PILT will need another $161 million to fully fund for all the counties, to keep all the counties whole. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that very much. And I want to say, once again, thank you to the chair and the ranking member. There aren't a lot of issues like this where we find this much unanimity on the committee. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to make this right. Thank you, Madam Chair.